Hey everyone, Andre here, and today we're diving headfirst into Shadow Labyrinth. It's one of the most ambitious indie action platformers to hit the scenes in a lot of years. With its rich atmosphere, tightly toned combat, and deeply layered world design, it's a game that wears its inspiration on its sleeve, but isn't afraid to forge its own path. After a dozen hours with it, I'm excited to break down what exactly makes Shadow Labyrinth such a compelling and at times super punishing experience that isn't just another Souls like. This is a game with some teeth, this is a game with a lot of attitude, and it's a game that stares back at you and dares you to keep going. And it rewards you with one of the most layered, beautifully grim experiences that I've experienced this year. Shadow Labyrinth wastes no time. You're playing as Kai, not a chosen one, not a fated hero, but just a fractured hunter drawing into an echoing guts of a world that feels both alien and ancient. There's no drawn out prologue, there's no grand prophecy, you're just thrown in and you're left to survive. The world is almost like a puzzle. Things shift, the architecture blends, a corridor you pass might not lead to the same place twice. The game is very unsettling in all the best ways. The environment speaks, ruined whispers, forgotten rituals, ghostly echoes murmur of past failures. The lore is carved into stone, hidden in bloody journals, etched into the walls by trembling hands, and the tone very oppressive and a little depressing, but it's actually very intoxicating. You're not just going to want to stop playing, you're not going to want to put this game down. You're going to want to know what happened here. What is the story of this game? Why does the labyrinth exist? Who the heck was Kai before all this? So let's talk the layout. This world isn't just big, it's very dense. Every hallway, every crevice, and every silent chamber feels handcrafted. Zones are interconnected in clever, satisfying ways. A locked gate that you found about an hour back might suddenly open when you activate Altar 3 floors down. You'll drop into forgotten catacombs, ascend rusted towers, and crawl through bone-riddled garden, sneak through fungal caverns that breathe. As you progress through the game, you'll gain spectral abilities, blink dashes, gravity wells, and shadow melds, transforming into a brand new experiences with each upgrade that you get. One moment that stuck with me this game was when I was on top of a spiraling cathedral tower, looking down at 3 zones that I visited hours later, and then realizing after the fact that they were all connected. There's no map in this game, it's just your memory, and honestly, for me personally, that's horrible, but for hardcore gamers, that feels very personal, is way more dangerous, and is way more real and exciting. Combat is very brutal for this game. It's not just hard, it's punishing brutal. Kai controls like a dream. He was very swift to play with. You got light attacks and heavy attacks, a tight dodge roll, and a slim but fair parry window. Every enemy encounter is a challenge. You can't just button smash in this game. You'll get punished for any rash gameplay decision. Enemy types vary wildly. Some vanish and strike from shadows. A lot of others swarm. Many inflict statuses like bleed, poison, or curse. But once you've learned them, once you got the rhythm of the game, you just start flowing. You time your dodges, you land a hit, and cancel into a special, and the screen erupts in sparks and shadow. That's when the game goes from survival to domination. Elemental weapon changes everything. Fire blades that burns over time, ice axes that slows down movements, and electro whips that chain across multiple enemy types. Each weapon has its own rhythm, and switching mid-fight is seamless, which was perfect to play with. And the enemy designs, they really didn't let up. Cursed sentinels, shadow beasts, abominations stitched together from other fallen hunters, the kind of monsters that make you pause for a moment before you enter a room. And yeah, they all kicked my butt seamlessly in this game, but every death taught me something new to go back and re-strategize, and every victory was a wave of endorphins. Upgrades are very smart, deep, and strategic. You collect umbral shards, which you use to level up health, stamina, and shadow abilities, but the real meat is in the passive trees. Aggression for crits, power, and brutal finishers, shadow for stealth, evasion, and trickery, endurance for defense, regain, and sheer survival. Mix them to create synergy builds. My personal favorite was a shadow aggression build that felt fast, lethal, and slippery, but I've seen full endurance tank builds face off against tank bosses that I had a lot of trouble against. You have a tight crafting system, no fluff. You gather bones, ruins, spore sacks, and cursed items. Then you make explosive traps, shadow bombs, healing elixirs, buff oils for elemental resistances. Crafting becomes essential later in the game, and it never feels like busy work, which honestly I really appreciate it from this game, because crafting now feels all too often like a menu cluster in most other games. In this game specifically, crafting feels like prep before war. Bosses are the peak of Shadow Labyrinth. I had a blast playing against them. Every one of them felt very handcrafted and detailed. They have phases, they all have different personalities, and they have arenas that actually matter. One of my favorite bosses was playing against the Blind Prophet that makes your screen go pitch black during the fight, forcing you to fight by sound. The Bone Ma Hydra splits into multiple elemental heads. You have to react, reposition, and read the arena. That one was also very difficult. You can't just use brute force in these games. They require patience and strategies, full control of your build. And when you win and actually beat these bosses, you feel like a monster slayer, a freaking legend. For a game this dark, the platforming is actually crisp. Kai moves with purpose, the wall jumps feel very smooth, dash segments are tight and well timed, elemental puzzles blend seamlessly with transversal, and you'll be dodging traps midair, racing against collapsing bridges, and shadow blinking through spikes. You're not just fighting enemies in this game, you're surviving the world itself. Sound design in Shadow Labyrinth is very unreal. Ambient noises shift depending on the zone. The hum of broken machines, the whisper behind closed doors, the distant roar of something you haven't seen yet. Footsteps echo differently depending on what you're walking on. Even your own sword sounds differently depending on what you're hitting against. The music is haunting and, like I said, a little depressing, but it gives you goosebumps and it makes you want to keep playing. Boss fights swell with orchestral rage. Exploration is filled with quiet, unsettling tones. Sometimes there's no music at all, just silence. And honestly, it works for the game. Just unforgiving, oppressive silence. The story itself, it was very minimal and almost non-existent, but that too works for the game. Most of the lore is found through exploration. You'll piece it all together. Who was here before you? What broke this world? And what are you trying to do? Are we really trying to escape it, or are we trying to become a part of this? NPCs are also few and far between, and every one of them is very weird, cryptic, or just flat out disturbing. Some will lie to you, some will help you out, and some of them will make you question if it was even worth helping them at all, or was it a mistake. But it all adds up to something that makes you feel like you played a story even though it wasn't really being told to you. So my final thoughts on the game: Shadow Labyrinth is a mega beast. It's not easy in no means. It's not casual. It's not trying to be liked either, but it's damn sure isn't forgettable. If you like a challenge, if you crave discovery, and if you're not afraid of the dark, then this game belongs in your library. I don't just say this lightly, but Shadow Labyrinth is one of the best indie experiences that I've had in a lot of years. If you liked Hollow Knight, Salt and Sanctuary, or Blasphemous, you feel right at home with this game. If you like this review, hit the like button and subscribe for the next one. And if you want to catch me live on Twitch, I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 9:30 Eastern time. But until next time, guys, stay sharp, stay alive, and more importantly, stay alpha.